Hello, hello, hello. I hope y'all can hear me. I'm loud enough. And welcome everybody to Let's Talk podcast. But today our topic is Let's Talk Workforce. And we are going to be bringing up several different topics on the workforce issue, specifically in early care and education. My name is Rochelle Wilcox. I am the co-founder and CEO of For Providers by Providers. I am also the owner of Wilcox Academy. We have 3 early learning centers in the greater New Orleans area and the co-host of this podcast. I'm going to turn it over to my other co-host.
Hello, everybody. Well, I'm Christy Givens. I'm the CFO, co-founder of For Providers by Providers. I own 3 child care centers in New Orleans. I'm also a co-founder of Elite Institute, which is a CDA program. And also, she's not visible today, but without Marcia Gasper, who is our producer, she's here today making sure all this stuff happen.
Now, I know you see these other 3 amazing women on the side of us. You don't really see them, not yet. They are going to have the opportunity to introduce themselves at different times throughout the podcast. But just know we're going to wait with bated breath what they have to say about themselves and about how they are a part of our workforce solution. But as we talked about today, we're going to talk about workforce solution problems. And what we know is that there's a national teacher workforce crisis. What people often don't think about or correlate that national teacher workforce crisis also correlates to early care and education. And it is, to us, it's a larger teacher workforce crisis. I'm going to hit y'all with some data. So it's the important stuff, but I know it's sometimes boring. But then we're going to talk to you how it really impacts early care and education. So one thing that we do know, without early care and education, there is no economy. We need to start linking those 2 pieces together. Early care and education is directly linked to our economy. People don't often think, or you might think, how is that related? Where if you don't have anywhere to bring your little person to school, a high quality early learning center, then how do you get to work? How do all of the doctors, the lawyers, the nurses, the police officers, the first responders, how do all of the people, the plant workers, how do all of those people go to work if they don't have somewhere to bring their little person? And we want it to be high quality early care and education. That is where they're going. So we want to talk about the data around there. So we know that they need consistent nurturing caregiving in early learning. So decades of research show that the first 1,000, not years. We ain't been there that long, not me. I know I look good. So I ain't been in for 1,000 years yet. So the first 1,000 days are the most important days. But right now, just in the state of Louisiana, 31% of our teachers working in early learning settings have a 31% turnover rate, compared to 49% of teachers 31% of preschool have a 31% of our teachers in preschool age teachers have a turnover rate. 49% of those are in toddler classrooms, and furthermore, 46% of childcare teachers left the field just in a single year, compared to 34% of teachers in Head Start. 26% of those teachers are in school-based preschool. So we look at that data, and it's the question of why. Why is that happening? And it's usually around pay parity. There is also data from our own, and this was in Louisiana, but the national Head Start, again, that's national. Again, 46% turnover rate, 34% turnover rate for early Head Start, 46% turnover rate for Head Start. And then, or I impose those numbers. Y'all get it. When we do this again, it'll be highlighted. Y'all will see it. But what we fought for in the millage was around increasing access to early care and education, and that's the ECE millage. However, what was a major gap in that is that we needed over 672 teachers to fill the gap of all of the children that was going to come into the system, with, again, a 46% turnover rate in preschool and or early care and education. And how do we fill that gap? How do we fill that gap? So with what we talked about, what Christy and I probably one night several years ago now, we were talking about, turnover rate, what's going on, how do we recruit, retain our teachers, and not just our teachers, we're looking at the system. When we talk about 46% turnover rate in early care and education, that's huge, right? You could have a wait list 1,000 children long, but if you don't have the teachers to care for those children, those classrooms go empty. And that is one of the things that we were having. We were talking on our Let's Talk Advocacy call. Providers were saying, well, I have the space, but I don't have the teacher to accommodate the children. Well, I have the parents ready to come in, but I don't have the teachers to accommodate the children. Or what about the training? Or what about all of those things? So what we were doing was one night or maybe one early morning, I don't know,
a whole day.
It could be even, and we called each other sometimes more than we talked to our significant others. She just was saying she was tired of talking to me yesterday. True story. But one of our, midnight calls or whatever, we was just thinking that in the state of Louisiana, you already have to be, in order to get a CDA, you have to be working in an early learning center already. And so it's just like, well, how does that create a pipeline if you're already working in the center? We need people that are not working in the center, or people to get interested, or how do we plug in? How do we create a workforce pipeline and all of these things? And it was just like, well, what about those people that used to come in right after Katrina? What about those people that used to come in and help? We saw all of those, and I don't think we even really knew the name, but it was just like, what about those AmeriCorps, those service workers people? And so we just start thinking, how could we solve or fix or one of those, because that's what I think we're good at, is bridging the gap. Like we see, because we're on the ground, fix, in the midst of all of the things. When a teacher don't show up, somebody got to get in the classroom, somebody got to cook, somebody got to do all the things, the janitor, the lights don't come on, we got to be the electrician, right? You got to check the circuit breaker and all of those things, because you are in this early learning setting. But we want to make sure that we are creating a continuous pipeline, because we want to be able to serve the children and families of New Orleans. We know right now, I just left another meeting, there's approximately 8,900 children that are currently not served just in Orleans Parish. This is not around the state. This is just in Orleans Parish. And this is something that we could do, but we just have to have the teachers and the workforce to do it. So one of the things that we thought about, was marrying or coupling, that's the same thing, AmeriCorps with philanthropy dollars, putting it together and creating a workforce pipeline. Because I might, as a newly graduated person, I might not know what my path is. Or as a parent, I want to be inside with my children. I'm volunteering here every day, but I want to come in and maybe I can work my way and I could, learn about this. Or I want to be a career changer, or whatever it might be. But that gets that person into the system and allows them to get their CDA. But we don't just want them to be a warm body, because that is what people have resorted to. I just need a warm body. Somebody come stand right here and make sure this child don't hurt themselves. We've all been in that space. But that's not what we really want. That does not promote high quality.
Right.
So, with that being said, we wanted to be able to bring new people into the workforce, train them, allow them to get their CDA, which would put them in another bracket where they can get higher salaries, but also not put strain on providers where while this person is training, they have to pay the full salary of that person's position. So that's what we did. We created the Early Childhood Teacher Corps. And we went to Harvard and did the Zantz Early Child Education Initiative Innovative Challenge. We won.
Yeah.
And it was exciting. And you couldn't tell me that I have not graduated from Harvard University.
We bought shirts and jackets. Like we
I am now an alumni of Harvard. Thank you. I should have bought my cap and gown. But it was amazing to sit amongst people of your peers and think like, you know what, this is something that because again, as providers, people don't usually see us. I think that our ideas are valuable, right? Mm-hmm. But what they don't know is the people that are closest to the work really know how to be, ingenuitive and solve the problem. So that's what we did. So with all of those things, this is the big picture. We are still in this workforce crisis. There's still the thousands of children that are being served. What we have here, and Sonia Joseph, who's going to introduce herself. I just said her name, but that's okay. She's going to introduce herself. Has been in early care. I'm introducing you again.
Yes. Let Sonia introduce herself.
There you go.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sonia Joseph. I am the owner and executive director of Clara's Little Lambs Preschool. Along with my mother, we've been in business for over 37 years with 3 locations in Algiers. We are so excited to be a part of the AmeriCorps job initiative because we are definitely, excited to be a pipeline from education into early care and education.
So thank you, Sonia. So the thing is that what we did is that we knew, 1, there was a need. We knew 2, we wanted to be able to pair this new person who had never been in early care and education with high quality early learning centers and an exemplar teacher. We're just not throwing them out there because when we took surveys of teachers that have exited programs or teachers that left the field, one of the things that they felt like they weren't supported, they felt like they were just thrown inside the classroom, they felt like the pay wasn't adequate. We still getting there, y'all. But we need funding. Let me just say that funding. But there were several things that we saw that we received in surveys that helped us build the AmeriCorps program or the Early Childhood Teacher Corps program so that way we can, again, bridge those gaps. And when our 4P by P members were all, we posted this, we had a webinar, and people were just like, yes, we need this. And so we were excited to be able to have them go inside their class, inside the classrooms. And Sonia has 1 or 2?
I have 1.
Sonia has one AmeriCorps teacher, service member inside her center, but we have how many across all?
Across all of our sites, we do have a
Who are you?
The speaking head in the corner. I am Latara Velos. I'm the program director for the Early Childhood Teacher Corps program, and
We can't hear you.
I'm overseeing the program across all of our centers. We are currently operating in 8 different centers for this year, which is our initial year as well, and overseeing a total of 9 members across all of those centers. So, it's a lot of moving parts. However, I think the feedback has been tremendous from a lot of our directors, the feedback from the parents, the teachers, and the members themselves. I think it's a great opportunity for them to have a really good insight into how early childhood education really works.
Absolutely. So just a few questions.
Yeah. So we're going to start with hi, Latara.
Yes.
And right now, can you introduce yourself too?
Yes. Hi, my name is Terry L. Ballum. I am the lead member of Early Childhood Teacher Corps, and I serve at Kids of Excellence on Higgins.
That's my site. And we love Terriel.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start, and let's start with the first question going to Latara. Latara, why is this program critical, and what are some of the strengths and benefits of this program addressing the workforce crisis?
Okay, well,
Reintroduce yourself.
oh, sorry. And again, Latara Velos, the program director for the Early Childhood Teacher Corps program. A lot of what...
You need me to repeat it?
No, we're good.
Okay.
A lot of the points that Rochelle was able to hit with regards to the shortage and the, the teacher crisis, essentially, we're here to fulfill those gaps and just provide an opportunity for people, again, who have no background with early childhood education, who are career changers, or who, again, are just dipping their feet in to kind of see if this is a trajectory that they would like to go on. We're offering that opportunity for them to be able to experience it from the standpoint of being in the classroom alongside someone who is leading them through the experience. And in addition to provide them a lot of the supports with just making sure that they're able to access the ability to become lead teachers themselves.
Okay. Also, we all know what early childhood teachers corps is. We all understand what AmeriCorps, but not everybody.
Right.
So can you give a quick 3-minute synopsis of what this program is and what's so great about it?
Okay, absolutely. So what our program does is it places a member inside of a center who is working as a support to the classroom that they serve in. So they're assigned a total of 3 children within that classroom to provide direct support. These children are those who are identified through public funding. So we're supporting them through ensuring that they're receiving the additional supports needed to make sure that they can meet their checkpoints. Which means that we're working with them daily to see, how they stand with their math, literacy, and language. We do regular assessments of the children to see where they are and then what improvements we need to make in the kinds of activities that we do with them to ensure that they can meet those milestones. In addition, outside of the class service, the member also participates in a CDA training program. As part of that program, they are going through receiving background information through a CDA training module, which we all do together. So another benefit of working within this cohort is that you have the supports of the people who are also going through it with you at the same timeline, which is very different than what happens, the traditional route into an early child care center. So our members come together once a week and they go through and they receive support from one another, from myself, from our CDA coach, from just a plethora of people who have vested interest in their development.
That is great. And what I'm hearing, what you're saying, that stick out with me the most is that those ratios are decreasing.
Yeah.
And that's what's so exciting to have a teacher. And how often is that teacher in that classroom?
So our members are serving inside the classroom Monday through Thursday, and they're in there for 6 hours a day. They start with them from the beginning of the day all the way through nap time, and they're there beyond that as well.
Right. I think it's like 8 to 2.
Yeah. Yep.
So I know they have another great benefit of this program, because imagine if this teacher was in your classroom. This program runs like $23,000, $25,000 a year. What is the cost to someone who want to host this at their site? What are they paying for that teacher?
Oh, well, that's the exciting news. So as opposed to having to pay the full payroll for an individual at the site, our members come in at the cost of a mere $4,800 for their entire service term. And our members are currently serving in this cohort for an 8-month period. So what we've done is we've also allowed for a payment development plan with our centers, just to make sure that we're not overwhelming them with a cost up front. So what we do is we offer 2 payment timelines, one in the fall and then one again in the spring, of $2,400 for each member that they have acquired.
That is amazing, because I participate in that. And Sonia, I know you are a part of all of that. And what's so having this member at your site, what is the best benefit that you believe that you get from this program?
Well, first of all, I'll say that we are fortunate enough to have a male teacher. And that is, to me, a number one benefit because we need more men in the classroom. The children love him. The parents love him. He's been a fantastic, even role model for the kids because some of these kids don't have father figures in their lives. So that alone is fantastic. The cost savings, of course, of not having to pay the full salary and the fact that it's broken down the way it is, it makes it really, really appealing to participate in. But I would even pay the full amount if I had to because he's amazing. He's really amazing, and he's a wonderful, like I said, he's wonderful in the classroom with the kids, so I really appreciate that part.
So having that funding to help support you, what are other things that you're doing with your money that, because I'm not paying this whole $23,000 and I'm paying $4,800, what are you doing with those funds to help improve your program?
Well, when you think about it, like with even in your home, right, everything has gone up, right? The cost of everything. So supplies, materials, and I call the things that the children use in the center perishable.
Yeah.
It's like, a loaf of bread that mildews, eventually goes away, right?
Once they touch it.
Exactly. The toys are either today, setting up for our spring fling today. I found broken toys, blocks, if they're not in their pockets. Some children, parents are like patting them down at the end of the day, like, can I have those Lego blocks and leave them at school? Can you leave the cars here? So having that extra funding has really helped us replenish materials and supplies. It has also helped us give teachers, increased wages, bonuses, and all these kinds of things we're able to do because we have that additional fund.
And then also something you left out, you can hire this person afterwards as full-time.
Oh my God, we are so excited because he expressed interest in staying.
Yeah.
And we were like, yes, you have a job. You have a job. yes. So that's really the best part. We now know what we're getting in advance, right? A lot of times you hire people and, sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. And you don't find this out until 6, 7, 8 months later. Yeah. We've had an opportunity to understand what type of work ethic he has, how that he shows up on time, that he's consistent. We've been able to see all these things. So it's been like an 8-month probationary period, right? Yeah. And now we know when we hire him, we know what we're getting, and that's really exciting.
And he came with training. He came with training, support, and all of the other things that we wish all of our other teachers may have came with.
Oh my gosh, that is so true.
And so it really is an opportunity to mold them. They can ask questions. It's this really training program for them. And even if they say, you know what, this isn't for me, at least instead of them coming into the situation, working in the classroom, and you paying or they getting there and maybe not making the best impact on a child or family or your culture of your center. And then you're like, this is not a good fit. No, they have been nurtured through all of these supports that they have that we're going to turn to Terry. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. So hi, Terrielle. Remember we said earlier that Terrielle is one of our members and she is placed at Kids of Excellence, but not only Terrielle is a full-time member. So Terrielle, tell us exactly what do you do at Kids of Excellence and what do you do for the Early Child Teachers Corps program?
So at Kids of Excellence, I usually come in at 7 in the morning and I end off at 4:30 because I am a full-time member. I offer that classroom support, but I also offer TS Goal implementation.
Tell us about that.
So with TS Goal implementation, it's all about helping children reach the mark in literacy, language, and math.
Awesome.
What is TS Goal?
TS Goal is teaching strategies. It's basically the marker to find out where children are and if they reach the criteria.
And Terrielle is new in this, and she's talking like a pro.
She really is. Like, wow.
And Terrielle, what has been your experience like for you, and how will this better prepare you to be a teacher or move up as something else in early childhood?
So that's so crazy because me and Ms. Latara was talking about this not too long ago. So the end goal for me is to actually work on the education board. I know I want to speak up for early childhood. And I know that being in this program is the first step. I know that, I feel it. And actually being in a classroom, and I benefit because I have 2 excellent teachers, 2 strong teachers, and I learn from the both of them. So I just know that working with the children that are our future. Everyone mentions the future and how they want to change it, but it starts with the children.
And when you're working with children, like you saying, you got to go back to the center today, even though you have to, but you just love being there. What is the bright spot when you're working with these kids? What you enjoy more when you see these kids every day?
I feel like all moments of the day, but my favorite moment has to be lunch. Because I'm like, y'all like y'all food? They be like, yeah, this chicken bussin'. Like, this chicken bussin'. I'm like, yeah, you gonna clean that plate, huh? I have a few moments of the day with them. I just like that they're characters, and even when I feel like I'm not my best, they help me reach that mark. Like some days I walk in with my head down, and I have a few of them that just, like keep your head up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love them.
Yeah.
But okay.
So one of the things that you pointed out is that you had 2 teachers that were in your classroom that are supporting you. So tell us about what that looks like. How are they supporting you?
So I'm gonna say that they offer the best practices. I feel like they're very good at demonstrating how things need to be done the correct way. And it's effective. So the first thing they do, for example, concept development is one of the things that I know for a fact that I need to work on. So I have a teacher that's more of a direct person. I have one that's like on the limb, that has an open mind, that can ask those questions. And I learned from the both of them because they balance each other out. By them having 2 different personalities, it works well in the classroom. I remember when I first got there, I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. But once I seen them work and actually put in the work to get better as 2 teachers, because it's kind of like, we got to get better. We got somebody in here that's watching us, that wants to learn from us. So you can always improve. And I like the fact that they're always improving, and they include me in those plans. Even my site supervisor, hey, Miss Precious, she's like, get in on these conversations. It's about you too, because we want you to learn and exceed to the best person that you can be in the classroom with these students.
Absolutely. So you have a model. So it's not like you were thrown in the classroom. You're not sure what you need to be doing. You have something to model off of, and to the point that you just made. You were afraid when you first walked in the class, like, I'm not doing the red alert. Like, I don't know. You could relate to the children, right? Because when most parents know when they drop their little person off the first time, it's like Wakanda, like, you didn't drop me off in the alien nation, right? And so the teachers had to show you teacher sensitivity. They had to show you all of these things and then model for you and scaffold all of these things. And so they are showing you all of the things. I don't know what that says.
You have
so they have to model all of those things for you, so that way you could model for the children.
Yeah. And
so that is what's part of the program. That I think that a lot of training programs or a lot of other programs is missing. That they're just like, oh, we could do the book work. You could. It's easy because CDA is online. You could do a CDA alone. But if you don't have that model piece, if you are not in an exemplar classroom where you could do the applied practice and have all of these wraparound supports, then are you a better teacher? Are you sure that you could do it? So that is why what I like about the part of the early childhood teacher corps is that it marries all of those things to make you a better teacher. So you said it without even being asked.
And Terry, I do have another question. If you, we might have people look at our YouTube video later, or people on the call that's thinking about becoming early childhood teachers, what a shout out that you could give to them to make them say, let's sign up, because you all do know we are expanding the program. Right now we're serving 16, but next year we're going to be serving 38, starting in September. And we're coming outside of New Orleans. We're expanding to other regions. So we are really excited about this. And we had a meeting with our AmeriCorps people, and we're saying, no, we're growing. So this is like we talk about early. When me and Rochelle thought about all this, we talk about the pain, how we're going to be a part of solving the problem with the workforce issue. So what advice do you give to other teachers?
I would say go for it. I feel like we always talk about how we want to make a difference, how we want to bridge the gap, but we have to actually get into it. It's some moments you can talk about it, but you want to take that action. Like, the children are the future. I always say, I want to change the future. I want the future to be bright. It starts with them.
That's right. And Sonia, as a provider, what shout out, because we're now expanding to other areas, expanding more in New Orleans. What advice would you give to directors to become a host
A
site?
partner. First of all, when Rochelle talked about the training that they get before they enter, just the fact that they come in with a background check. It's $100 a pop just for a background check.
We know.
And think about it. You spend that money, and that person lasts a few weeks.
Right.
Right. You're lucky if you get 30 days, a month for some of them, and you've invested this money, and it's just out the door. Right. So I think that alone is an incentive. Number one. Number two, you're getting people who are coming in who really want to be an early care and education teacher. They're not just coming in saying, well, I tried this, now let me try that, then maybe I'll try something else. These are people who are really committed to being the $2,400 for the first half of the year, and then the $2,400 for the second half of the year is such a small price to pay for what you're getting.
You don't have to go through, like she said, the background checks and the initial training and the learning gap. We're going to fill that need for you. In addition, we're going to provide them with a uniform that we're all wearing today.
I put on the wrong shirt today. I'm sorry. But not only that, and I think we missed talking about that, is that not only when we're working in the classroom, when the coaches is going out, and Terriel and Lataria is going out to the centers, they're working with the other teachers in the classroom too. So now you're getting somebody building professionalism in your center with both teachers. We don't say, oh, this is just our student. Everybody. And we don't just work with those 3 kids. We work with all the kids in the room. So we are building the capacity of so many kids over time. And you can see it because the teachers are saying that in the classroom too.
So I was going to say, and we did our mid-year surveys, and when we did our mid-year surveys with our host sites, with our site directors, with our core members, the fact of the matter is that overwhelmingly they love the program. Overwhelmingly, the site directors are just like, yes, do you have more? And we want to hire. Once the program is over, we want to hire this person, or vice versa. The other person just like, yes, I want to stay in early care and education, and that's what we want to hear. We want this is hard work, right? We understand that being in early care and education is one of those things that you either really want to do because it's something that that is again, it's from your heart, or you just like, look, those children, the parents, all of the things, you could decide that this is not for you. But this is a training opportunity, a service opportunity, a workforce opportunity that you can do and help you move forward. And what we did not mention, once you complete the program, you also receive a scholarship. Yes, I want my core member. Yes, the thing is, people want them to stay longer, right?
Absolutely.
And it's just like, well, technically this is their hours, right? So and it was the benefit of having all of those wraparound supports. And that is the reason why we're saying we started with just 16. When you talk about 8,900 children that go underserved, just with those 11, or I forgot how many we said, but we're impacting over 700 children. That's right. That's powerful right there. Next year, or this next cohort, we'll be able to go into other parishes. We want to keep, to Christy's point, keep growing, keep touching, because we know that the more we can prepare our teachers, the more our children could be prepared, because we want them to be school ready. There's no reason why our children can't be, reading at grade level by third grade. There's no reason why we can't have more children graduating at high school. People think about that when they get into K-12. They don't often correlate the grade level reading to early care and education. We need to make sure that understand that there is a correlation with that. We have to get these little people ready now, and that starts with the teachers in the workforce and getting them paid more dollars. We need more investment into early care and education. We need more investment in the early care and education workforce. That is what we need investment in. We need pay parity. And when we talk about workforce, we need to make sure that people are putting their money where their mouth is. And people are like, yes, I believe in early care and education. Where's the money?
Can I add to that, Rochelle? When you think about there are apprenticeship programs that have been existed throughout the state for years, and nobody ever thought about a child care apprenticeship program because it was concerned about the funding, right? And so that's why it's so important to fund the workforce for early care and education, because we're probably one of the most valuable services in the state.
Absolutely.
Because when you look at a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, an Indian chief, all of them start from somewhere, right? They all come from us. There used to be a thing that said, everything I needed to know, I learned in kindergarten. No, everything you needed to know, you learned in preschool, early care and education. Because we're preparing you, we're giving you, those sponges are absorbing all the information we're giving them, and we're putting them in a position to learn when they get to pre-K and kindergarten. And that's why really it needs to be more valued more, because we are the foundation for everything else.
And also, just to add to that, with anything that's a start, and that's why we started with 16 in a pilot program, because we wanted to know the pain points.
Yep.
What are things that's not working?
Right.
And what we did, and we fixed for our next year, first we understood that people who come in the early childhood, they have children. So we talked to our organizations to say, hey, let's make sure these individuals that's coming in have seats for their children. How I'm going to come to work if I can't place my child at a child care center. And then we noticed that people didn't have transportation service, and it was an issue for them getting to work. So we went and gathered more funding to help support them for people who need transportation, that we have now a Lyft service that we offer to our members who don't have transportation to help them to get before work, get to work, and get to other places. So we're looking at the problems, and I think that's something we solve really well. Like, if we got a problem, I think me and Rochelle, we have a sickness in Sonia for we want problems, we want to solve the problems to figure it out.
We want to solve them. I want no more problems.
We want to solve the problems and we want to share this information with you all, because this is not just for this AmeriCorps program.
Exactly.
We're dealing with it at our child care centers, and there's nobody exempt from any of this.
Exactly.
And that's why we want to share all this information with you and let you all know about some innovative things we're going to do. And Rochelle going to talk about another program that has a great innovative idea that we help guide them to getting this happening. So you want to talk about Ariane?
Oh, okay, sure. So, Ariane Santino of C Academy, she has CNA to CDA. CNA to CDA. Her workforce solution will be having on April 20th at the CAC. She is going to be having an amazing event. Please look out for her. I'm going to, on the bottom of this, we'll get all of her information, but we wanted to make sure we spread this. This is not the only workforce solution. Early care and education, when there's a problem, look at the people who are on the ground. They will find a solution. The fact that the closest to that issue, the closest to that pain point, they will find the solution. So we wanted to make sure that we gave that shout out to Ariane Santino and C Academy and CNA to CDA, April 20th.
Correct.
So we wanted to make sure. The other thing before we wrap up is we are all a part of Go Far Louisiana. I'm the co-chair. Christy is a steering committee member. The Go Far Day at the Capitol, which is Go Far is building a united system, a unified system for everything that touches a child. Not just early care and education, but health, health, well-being, policy, all of those things that touch a child. We want to make sure that there's a unified system, that none of our little people are falling through the cracks because they cannot, there's not a system that there's to support them. So the Go For Dad is at the Capitol. It is Tuesday, not Monday, but Tuesday. April 2nd, 9 a.m. to 2:30. We will be there. You can register to be there at register at goforla.org. So we want to make sure you see you there. We will be there. There's going to be ice cream. So everybody likes ice cream. So we want to make sure to see you there. But the other thing that we want to make sure that you understand is that the reason why we are here is because we want to make things better for the children and families, not just across New Orleans, but across the state of Louisiana.
And we also want to give a shout out. We need you all of you on this call. Last year we had 350 people at our conference. This year, August 9th and the 10th, we need 500 people. When I tell you, you thought we had some great speakers last time, but we've been having interviews, meetings with speakers, and I'm telling you, they are on fire. You don't want to miss it. You want to plan to come both days, August the 9th and August the 10th. It is going to be something that's just going to change your life. So be there.
Sneak peek, Rich to Regular, they coming back.
Yeah.
They were amazing.
They coming
were
back.
amazing.
And guess what? They're coming back.
They got some fire, y'all.
Fire.
We want to make sure, and our next podcast is April 25th. We want to make sure that you are there on it. But to Christy's point, you guys, the website will start opening so you can register yourself for our conference. It is
May
going
1st.
to be... It is going to be, y'all know I have sensory issues. These people talking to me all around. I cannot do it. I can't. So it's going to be amazing. May 1st is when it will open, and we look forward to seeing you. We getting it together. What else am I supposed to say?
It's gonna be for providers, owners, directors, teachers, and parents. Bring everybody out. Bring your community.
And we will have childcare.
And we are offering childcare this year. So you want to register early because childcare is going to be
limited and it will go fast.
And it will go fast.
And it was just a lot of fun.
It was fun. We had dance, we had good food, we had fun.
And we're bringing all that back.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining. Workforce Solutions is what we do because we are a workforce solution. So thank you for having us. Thank you for tuning in. Likes, share, subscribe, all the things that everybody else say on their YouTube.